Hello, welcome to Women of the Future. I am Magla Pillai in the studio with Sister Denise, and today we are looking at the subject entitled Your Relationship with Your Own Body. Now, if this sits in a difficult manner with you, please know that you are not alone. There are many women across the globe who have serious what we call issues with the way they look, how they see themselves, and especially how they see and think that others see them. So we will be looking at the subject today, and I hope that you fasten your seatbelts, because Sister Denise has been known to share some things as far as her understanding is concerned, which is probably something you have not learnt before or not heard of before. So Sister Denise, it's wonderful having you back.
Thank you.
Your relationship with your own body. For many viewer listening to you, this is a sore subject because it is not news to a lot of women that most on the planet do not like what they see in the mirror. You quite often hear women say, I'm too fat, I'm too thin, I'm too short, I'm too tall, my hair is curly and I want it straight, or vice versa. We tend to be very self-critical. And your perspective on this is?
Spirituality tells us that the body you have, first of all, it's not you. You are not your body. So it's not I am too tall, thin, fat, short, whatever, but my vehicle. And when you say I am something that is too whatever, you kind of don't like yourself for it. When you say the vehicle that I have is whatever, I mean, you're more willing to say, okay, it is what it is, and work with it, work with what you've got. Spirituality also tells us that the body you get is according to your karma, which means that it's not somebody else who's responsible for it. You yourself have done whatever it is that has enabled you to get this body. You have to come to terms with it. Every body has tendencies to maybe certain diseases. You may have a tendency to be thin or fat or whatever it happens to be. Spirituality says, this is my body, it is not me. So then the attention goes on, okay, if that's the case, then who is me? And then it makes sense to think about, well, what is my relationship with my body? You see, because the body that you have is the vehicle that is going to carry you to where you want to get to. And so the first thing is to learn how to really take care of it.
What is your definition of taking care of it?
Sometimes the body has been compared with a horse. If you have a horse, which is your transportation and your mount that you show yourself off on, you can say, you want to make sure that your vehicle, your horse, has got enough rest, enough food, exercise, it's properly clean and all of these things. So you take care of your vehicle as you might take care of your car. If you don't take care of your car, it'll cost you. Your body is not something that you can just replace, just like a car. If it goes bad, you get another one. No. This is what you have for this life. And so you need to take care of it so that you have a good quality vehicle for as long as possible, because people who neglect their bodies, who abuse their bodies or whatever, they will suffer the consequences.
That is quite sobering. Now, Sister Denise, the aspect of taking care of your physical body has a physical element to it. There's obviously things that you've got to do, but it also has an internal element to it, your attitude. Your attitude. So I'd like you to take us through how one makes the shift from believing that you are this to knowing that it is an instrument that belongs to you just for this one lifetime. How do you make that shift?
You really do it by processing the concept and by meditating on the idea that this is not me. I am not my body. I am something that is beyond it. I'm very subtle. I'm consciousness. I'm a being. This is my material instrument which allows me to express myself. So it's a medium of expression. It's a vehicle. It's a canvas on which I present, or through which I present myself. And so I need to make sure that I know who I am and what I am. And then that comes through. If I think I'm this, I forget this, the real me. So my relationship with my body has to be, this is a possession, temporary possession. We also have this idea in spiritual practice that I am the trustee of this body. You know, there is this idea, suicide is wrong. Why is it wrong? It's my body, I can do what I want with it. No. Life is sacred. You have been given life in the sense that a living body through which to operate, you do not have the right to abuse it, misuse it, destroy it, whatever. And so one has to understand about what right you have and what right you don't have in regard to your body. Take the ongoing debate that's happening about models. The fashion industry demands that girls are thin to the bone. The health industry and the legal industry says that is abusive, and you have to really shift aesthetic values and commercial values so that models are able to do their profession without being commanded to be anorexic, you see. And this is a very interesting example of the whole thing with the fashion industry, because fashion is an extension of your body. Your body is a clothes peg or a clothes hanger. So your clothes are showing what you are and who you are. If you say, I am my body, then I am my clothes. I am beautiful, a beautiful body. Now you can have people who have very beautiful bodies but pretty ugly souls. You can have a very beautiful soul in a body that is not so good at all. But the belief is, I am what my body is. This film, I think is Blade Runner, shows you the extent to which cosmetic surgery has been taken and how it can turn out really badly. But you see, cosmetic surgery is a huge industry based or successful because a person is never satisfied with what they've got. They want to change it, add a few bits here, take a few bits off, and it becomes like a photoshopped thing. For example, the girls in Playboy magazine, there isn't a single one that's an actual person. They're all composite from different other people, you see. And then it gives a message to men that a woman has to be like this, and there isn't such a thing, And it gives a message to women that you have to be like this, which doesn't exist. So it's very, very false, false, false. Now, when you say, okay, I'm not my body is simply a vehicle, then it reduces or maybe even eliminates this preoccupation with your body has to be some other way than what it is. You say, okay, this is what it is now. Let me dress it appropriately, let me use it appropriately, because the body exists to serve me, the soul, and my responsibility is to take care of it so that it can do this very good service. The same way my mind. People abuse their minds. Your mind is also a vehicle for your inner world. You have to take care of your mind, take care of your thought, take care of your feelings. See? I am not my thoughts. I produce thoughts.
Now, Sister Denise, we have women watching you right now whose bodies are not physically healthy and who are experiencing a number of maladies from life-threatening to non-life-threatening. How do you deal with that from a spiritual perspective?
You have to look at several modalities and work with all of them. First of all, if you have an illness, then you need to seek treatment. You have to take responsibility and decide what modality you're going to go with. You may use the conventional allopathic. You may complement that or replace it, it's up to you, with complementary medicine, with acupuncture, with homeopathy, with Ayurveda, with Chinese medicine, Japanese medicine. There are many, many different therapies, all of which benefit you in some way or another. You know, there are people, they say, okay, I'm a professional patient. You know, they say, okay, I have cancer, I have rheumatoid arthritis, I have diabetes, I have a heart condition. There are many, many things. So what are you going to do so that your remaining days in your body are the best possible? And there are some things that you can do, and then the condition of your body may be such that the best that you can do is it, and you have to live with a certain amount of pain, a certain amount of disability, and so on. Again, you have to come to terms with it. Nowadays, among young people, they're very concerned with healthy living rather than impressing other people by doing things which are also unhealthy.
Sister Denise, there are people watching you, women watching you right now, who are consciously engaging in behavioral patterns that can only be described as cruel to the body, who harm themselves. There's many types of harm, physical harm, and they do it consciously. What is your message to them?
I think you have to be a bit more specific. What sort of harm are they doing?
There's behaviors such as self-cutting. There is consumption of products that can only harm you, like being a chain smoker or a drug addict or an alcoholic. Then there's types of behavior where you know what you should be doing for your body, but you're not doing it because you have a self-image in mind, or a body image in mind, like you should be eating this amount of food and you don't, and you're anorexic as a result. And all of this is self-inflicted harm.
Now, what we're talking about here is addictive behavior.
Okay.
And addictive behavior requires professional attention. So I would not go into that subject.
Okay.
I would say You know, I would refer people to the World Health Organization's definition of addiction, which I think is very good. Any behavior, activity, or substance use or abuse which causes you harm and which you persist in doing irrespective of the harm it's causing you would be considered addictive, and you need to consult professionals about that.
The reason I mention this is, why does a woman do this?
I think we can say also, again, referring to addictive behavior, what triggers addictive behavior is trauma.
Okay, so...
And again, this is something that I would refer people to professionals. I really think that it's inappropriate to say something about, in a way, medical conditions unless if you are a professional in that area.
Okay, so how then would you define a healthy relationship with your body? I don't mean healthy from a physical perspective, I mean a spiritually healthy perspective. How would you define that?
I think it includes the physical, actually. A healthy relationship with your body is you love your body because this is your vehicle and it is proper to take care of it, to love it, not to be, narcissistic, but to give it, love means to care for. And so make sure that you have good food, proper food within your capacity, that you give your body exercise, that you give enough sleep, you take enough sleep, you take rest, you take care, you listen to the messages of your body. If your body says, I'm really tired now, don't override these messages. Of course, there are many jobs that people do which, because of financial constraints, a person ends up doing something which is really bad for the body, and it's not healthy, but circumstances of that person preclude the possibility of working in a healthy way. I mean, nowadays in the world, the way the world is at the moment, if you can have work which you love and which doesn't strain your body beyond acceptable arrangements, acceptable limitations, you're fortunate. A lot of people, they have to sit at the computer, they get back strain, wrist strain. A lot of people are working where they are in air conditioning, heating, they get lung problems. People are working in polluted areas, they get physical damage because of that, and the industries deny responsibility. So there's that whole area which, because of financial constraints, you are in a way powerless. So in that sense, do your best. Whatever you can, do your best.
Sister Denise, the ability to change your attitude towards what you see in the mirror is for many a viewer extremely difficult. And although it is fairly easy to understand what you're saying, it's not so easy to implement it because of very strong held beliefs about what you do look like and what you would like to look like, and because of the messages that you've received in the past, that they have received in the past. How do you emerge the patience and the fortitude, if you must, to make that journey to right your self-image?
I think I wouldn't try to fix something, but I would go in a different direction. You start to say, I'm not my body, okay, what am I? And really focus on what I am. And cultivate the inner beauty. all of us have what's known in spiritual circles as an inner body.
What does that mean?
The inner body is a kind of shadow body or a body of light. And that body of light corresponds to your character. And it also corresponds to your consciousness. So if you cultivate the consciousness of I am a beautiful soul, it's going to show through your face. And sometimes you will see this in particular individuals who physically maybe say, okay, that person physically really quite ugly, but they look so beautiful. Because the inner light, the inner consciousness, it really shines through the face, so that people just don't see the physical, but they see that spiritual, that consciousness shining through, and they relate to that. And I think that this is really the way to go. Cultivate that.
Yes, Denise, I've heard you bring God into the picture on more than one episode. How does he fit into this particular picture as regards your relationship with your body? Where does he come in?
Well, you know, God loves you, not particularly concerned with your body. A human is concerned with your body because that's what they see. God doesn't see your body, God sees you.
The soul.
And God seeing you causes you to see you. And so your relationship with God affects your relationship with yourself. You know, when people are in material consciousness, they relate to their body as, this is me. As you start to develop spiritual consciousness, and you start to relate to God and receive the vision, you know, how does God look at you? God looks at you with great love, knows exactly who you are. And I mean, you don't worry too much what kind of car somebody drives. You're not going to say, oh, I'm only going to be friends with people who drive Ferraris. Anyone who's driving a VW, I don't want to be friends with. That's not how you operate, you know. So from God's angle, your body is your bicycle, your motorbike, your car, your boat, your plane, whatever you travel around in. But God is looking at you. You start looking at yourself with the same eyes that God is looking at you, and your body comes into the right perspective. It is a vehicle, it's not you. Cultivate that.
The feeling that I get from you of somebody who has been leading a spiritual life is that your relationship with your body is one of extreme respect. What does respect mean from a spiritual perspective that differs from one who doesn't have a spiritual perspective of your mortal corporeal costume?
Well, you have to respect your age and not try and push it beyond what your age is. You know, at a certain point in time you slow down. You don't expect yourself at 60 to do what you were doing at 20. That's not realistic. Respecting your body means also understand what its needs are in terms of food, in terms of rest, in terms of exercise, in terms of how you decide what you do, you know, what kind of traveling you do, how much downtime you need. Really understand what your needs are and fulfill those needs. That is a really good respect of your body.
Okay, Sister Denise, I think that we will say goodbye to you right now because we've come to the end of today's episode. So there you have it. What does it mean to have a healthy relationship with your body? I think that this is a very refreshing perspective for many women, because we tend to be very self-critical, and I'm sure you don't know that most of us don't like what we see in the mirror. We're forever criticizing it or trying to change it in some way, and there's nothing really wrong with it. So it's not the body that's the issue, it's our attitude. And Sister Denise has shared some gems of wisdom which I'm sure you will be able to apply in your life. And I'd like to leave you with a thought that just as you are the way you are right now and the way you physically are right now, you're fine, and any improvement will be just that, to make it better. So I do wish you a journey in which you are able to look at yourself from a more respectful perspective, and appreciate the temple that you've been given by life. So Sister Denise, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I hope that something, or rather everything in today's episode has been of some value to you. Thank you for your time, and we hope to see you soon. Goodbye.